Alright, welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode number 429. Okay, so what happened? Now, I'm not reviewing Don Brothers this one. You're thinking, wait, you got it done already? No. I had decided because I have currently lost interest in Don Brothers, so I had decided to postpone watching the rest of the series for quite a while. Because watching it, I realized I wasn't ready to watch it yet. Am I rewatching the first episode again? Probably not. I probably do kind of remember basically what happened there. So, this one decided to jump ahead with the next one was going to do next anyways. But this video was going to be next after ToQger, but I wanted to do Don Brothers. Actually, the plan was to do ToQger, King Onger, and then this one. But I wanted to do Don Brothers, it looked interesting. But then after watching the episodes, I'm like, yeah, probably not a good idea to watch this point. So, because I was looking at basically the last shows make a tribute to, and a lot of them I had not seen yet at all. In 10 episodes, I was looking at basically a tribute to. I'd say that it would have been tribute to about 4 Sentai series I've seen. Not a lot. Yeah, basically made tribute to ones I had not seen yet. This is one of them. So here we're reviewing Ressha Sentai ToQger. Yep, and we're here discussing the first 3 episodes of the series. Yep, the first 3 episodes. You're like, wow. In these 3 episodes, well, let me do something here for a second here. Thank you. So, basically, we start with this evil train. We see all these kids playing around and talk about imagination, because that's the whole big thing with this series. Imagination. Your imagination is gonna go wild, like pure imagination. Like when I think imagination, I think of the original Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory, not the remake with Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka. I'm talking about from the 70s, one with the late Gene Wilder. You see, when I was a kid, I watched that version first before the one that came out with Johnny Depp. The one with Johnny Depp was weird, like pure weirdness. The original one is a pure enjoyment. Like, if you are a fan of that one, if you want a much more better version of the movie, much more memorable, like, the original from the 70s is basically the one to go to. Yeah, when I was a kid, I basically watched stuff that came out in the 70s and 80s. And I really enjoyed those type of eras. Because I was a little kid in the 1990s. It wasn't only movies I could see in the 90s. Now I've seen some movies that come in the 1990s. I would say I wouldn't see all of them released. It's just that I would say about 15% of the movies released in the 1980s I have seen, but not all of them. But small amount. So, in these 3 episodes, we have it where these kids are kidnapped by this evil dark train, part of this thing called the Shadow Line. And we have our first monster introduced in just the opening minutes of this episode. We are 5 minutes in, we're introduced to a monster already. This is Bag Shadow. Him and his dark train wants to create the Forgotten Children Mountain as a train station for the Shiva Shadow Line. And we're introduced to 4 other people associated with them in just the first episode. Where else we're introduced to Madame Noir. If you've seen what she looks like, you're thinking, wait, is that Void Queen from Down Fury? Yes, because they basically took her costume from this show and put it in Down Fury, even though the character has nothing to do with Red Soldier. There's also Baron Nero. Yes. Which, when you look at this guy, let me show you what the guy looks like, because you see, his costume did also appear in Power Rangers 2 in Ninja Steel. There she is. What a pretty lady. Yeah. And you see, like, wait, that's the Void Queen. Not necessarily. This is Madame Noir, her original Sentai counterpart. Even though the Void Queen in Dawn of Fury has nothing to do with this version at all. Aside from the fact it's the same costume. Yeah, she wears this dress. So you think, okay. And this is her daughter. This is Miss Greta. Yes, that is her daughter. And the whole thing is, she's arranging her to be married to the Emperor Darkness, which we don't see yet who he is. He's not here. The other gentleman we see here is Baron Nero. And here he is. And you look at this outfit like, wow, that's a really cool look. Wait. That body looks familiar. Was this Casino Royale from Ninja Steel? Well, it's basically the bottom half of the suit. They would change the head. Oh, Cosmo Royale. You're probably familiar with this guy here. Yeah, it's literally the same suit, except they just swapped the head. And there's one more villain here from the Grand Shadow line introduced in just the first episode. Yep. You're thinking, who else could it be? Well, you see it very briefly here. This is General Schwartz, who, when Miss Greta sees him, she's like falling for him. And this is their symbol. Something that, okay, so I've read the reason why. Now, one of the reasons why that this one's been skipped by Power Rangers, but adapt for it. One, because the mistaken belief kids are in the trains. And two, apparently the toy sales in this show were terrible, despite the fact that they said the same thing with Go Busters, even though that was made of Beast Woofers. Now, yes, I've kind of talked about the ToQger already, thanks to their team we did with Kiroja, which I'm going to do that again, by the way. So, they have the kids on a train, they're crying, and then he goes like, who's sleeping? Oh crap, it's an adult, and this actually is a character named Wright. ToQger number 1, Red. Yep. And then we introduce the other ToQgers, who are Taka, Mao, Hikari, Kagra. Yep, all introduced in the first episode, all in their suits. They battled the villains of the series, the Crows, who were basically the grunts. Which is weird guys wearing tuxedos, where it's a weird look, but there's no denying the fact that, well, by the way, the Crows themselves, they're seen in a lot of episodes. They're seen like, I mean, we're already started this episode. We got Monster, we got some villains, we got the freaking grunts here. Which, yes, these guys did pop up in that version with ToQger, but that's him, these weird guys in tuxedos. Yeah, they call us Combanqueros, or basically the version I saw was Crows. They're missing from a few episodes. They're not in episodes 8, 17, and afterwards they're missing for 7 straight episodes from 21 to 27. They're not in 29, 31, 34, 37 to 39, 41 to 41 to 42, and they're also missing from 46. Now, By the way, the first monster, Bag Shadow, he's a Madame Noir monster, and he does return in. He actually return in a later episode, but she actually has 2 monsters here. She has also a monster in 39 as well. The one in episode 2 is a very near monster. So then we're introduced to the ToQgers. We're introduced to their train mech, which is part of the Rainbow Express. And no, it has nothing to do with LGBT. The specific name associated with LGBT, because people for the last 20 years associated with rainbows with people who are gay. But this line has nothing to do with basically homosexuality. Nothing. Nothing at all. And the fact this series also had a bit of controversy, not because of the whole thing of the Rangers, because they thought that one of the Zords sprouted a dick. I'm not kidding about that. They thought that one of the Zords just had a fight with his dick sticking out. I'm like, I'm seeing the transmission sequence in the first episode. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, there's one point in the second episode where like, oh, it looks like a dick. No, it's not. It's not a dick. Oh my gosh. It is not a dick. You see, the trains, they fold in half to form this Megazord. And no, it is not. Whoever says that the main Megazord spouts a dick is a complete moron. It's like, are we watching the same show? Now, that's my criticism of another criticism related to the show. And as for the whole thing of kids not in the trains, here's a question I like to ask. People will say that, have you ever done something called an audience analysis? Those are thinking, what the heck is audience analysis? It is simply put, feedback from your audience. I first heard about this term in speech class, where someone did this. I think it was back in the 70s or 80s that this happened. The teacher pissed when this happened. But there was this thing called New Coke introduced, replacing the original Coke. And there was audience analysis. The sale was not doing too good. They go, what's going on? And the feedback was, is that New Coke was terrible. So they decided to quietly recall New Coke, and the person who posed that later proposed what we now known as Diet Coke. And the original Coke was brought back as Coke Classic. Speech class. You get to learn something like this. I found that quite interesting. Like the fact that someone took an audience analysis to get feedback from your audience on how they feel about something. I'm like, why can't companies do this? Oh, because they basically all they care about is your money. Like, maybe it's not the whole thing of kids on the trains. That's not the issue. I think maybe what happened here, where the toys not doing good, maybe they're not good looking toys, or maybe they're expensive. It's possible, but I have no idea. Also, in case you're curious though, when was the show released? Believe it or not, 2014. And last month marked 10 years since the show ended. You're like, really? Yeah, it's been 10 years since the show ended. Which I find that fascinating. Yes. Also, I first heard the opening theme song in this one. I also sang it with Don Brothers as well. I first heard the opening theme song thanks to there's this guy on YouTube who basically sung all the Sentai songs from the original Go Ranger theme up until Don Brothers, and this is one of them. And it's like go go go. Like the arrangement is basically like go for it, go 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 go. There's a track no bound. What this thing is there? Board with the train, examine, find out. Come on, run. Our express, don't be late. Be careful to miss the train. Take your charting dreams aboard. Cut through the wind whenever you go. But basically, it's like all about imagination. It's a really cool look. It's a really cool song. I love the song. Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. And I hope YouTube doesn't pull me because I dare sing part of a song. That's if we'll put the music in the background. Because last time I checked, you can't pull a video for somebody singing a song if it's somebody playing the music with somebody's original, with the voice of the person who's saying it, then it's an issue. But if someone like me sings it, I don't think that's an issue. I'm sure everybody can probably agree with me on that, because here was the thing. There's a very famous story related to somebody who was singing a video on YouTube, and the person's song who recorded sued the person over copyright for singing some of their song, but they pointed out that was a home video, and plus also, there was no music there, it just a little kid singing a song. And it was, yeah, maybe someone else's words, yes, but it's them singing it. And the courts actually agree with them because this complaint was stupid. Really stupid. Yes, I heard about this incident. It is one of the most dumbest copyright strikes I've ever seen. Like, some copyright strikes I've heard was due to, use too much footage. Link Carr basically mentioned one of his videos that I think it was his review of, I think it was Legopolis. They actually copyrighted him for footage of himself. I'm like, BBC, I don't know what BBC was thinking with that. I mean, the footage he was using wasn't that much at all. I mean, he was talking to a lot of it. You didn't hear Tom Baker's voice a lot of the time. Basically, you just heard him talking footage. It's similar to the way it was with S and the Bree with that one, but I'm getting off track here with that one. So, yeah, and then of course, basically, they fight him, and of course, they do the gimmick of, let's swap colors, and let's have people just do like, okay, and he's later told, don't do it randomly. The other time, basically, do it in episodes 2 and 3. At least they actually have a reason for it, because they ask like, let's do switch colors, and there's a reason for it. It's not completely random. It's basically just there's a plan involved, and the conductor's like, first time he did criticize it for, second time basically is like he sees what's happening. He's like, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, so. Yeah, they swap colors, and then of course they form. Now the Mako sequence is interesting. So they have the train pull up, and then they have something that I thought was really interesting, because stand behind the white line, and then there is a scanner thing. I had done this before with the subway, where you take a card and you just tap it. Usually it's a paper card. This one basically is like a metal card. You scan it on the little scanner thing, and it allows the doors to open automatically. You can walk around the train, because when I show you can't exactly just go to the around it. That's illegal. So them pointing it out basically is to show the fact, don't go around the white line or around this little gate thing, because in a way you gotta pay to go on a train. This is common only in Japan, but also here in the US too. So they go on the train, and then they transform into a Megazord. Really cool looking sequence. Basically, you have little. It's called express coupling. You have the green and blue next to each other, and pink and yellow, and they form their mech. And here's something I love. This. It's something that I don't like the fact that later Sentai basically they don't do this very much. Is having the 5 Rangers all go into one cockpit and fight the monster with a sword. A sword basically like a train track, and winning. I'm like, that is so cool. I like that. And then the very next episode is basically them going to this place called Dual. It's like Dual Meadows, where they arrive there and like, everything seems pretty normal, except the fact that apparently this is also a controlled town by a shadow, and the monster of the episode, who is called Cloak Shadow, I think that's what he is. It is Saber Shadow, excuse me, where he basically has this thing, let's have people challenge other people to duels, and of course this kid's parents are injured, so, and of course they had this little thing of, one thing also about this show is that they do like all the time, basically like once, maybe twice an episode, where they break the fourth wall. Like, And it's not very like, oh, let's make the fourth wall every 5 minutes. Just look at the camera. Like, for example, this was like, well, we were never told, basically, it's all about a duel. And the guy's like, yeah, you're right, you weren't told about it. He's like, but tomorrow we do it. And of course, Red's like, I'll be dueling you. And he's like, we'll see about that. And then the very next day they have a duel, and they shoot the little thing on the clock, and of course they fight. And then they defeat him by, okay, so they have the old-fashioned duel of, oh, let's do it via pistol duel by being back-to-back, walking 5 steps, and because this villain, he cheats, the lucky enough basically anticipated this, so he had him disassemble briefly, come back together, fire on him, boom, gone. Smart kid. He is very smart. The very next, now basically, there was also hints basically like, oh, they could be dead. Oh, like their town may be consumed by darkness. And that kind of is true. The whole thing may be dead, may not be true, but the whole thing consumed by darkness, that may be true. But not very clear about it. So then next clue in the next episode, where ToQger wonders if they get home, and if you want to, and of course she gets off at the next town, which is called Peace Valley. Yeah, which when the shadow monster arrives there, it's called, it changed to Death Valley, which is also the name of an area in California, which is also a place where The Undertaker was bailed for years, with the exception of 2000 was bailed for Houston, Texas. Yeah. Now, Chain Shadow, yeah, the way with him is that Man in the War just found him, just roaming around the castle, and just sent him out, do what the heck he wants. And this whole thing is like, by the way, the train shows up like right after the Rainbow Express leaves. So that's how it gets transformed. And yeah, they get transformed, and it becomes basically a human hell. There's some kids down there, and this whole episode is focused on ToQger. Basically, the Pink Ranger. And it's a really good character piece. And heck, they even have the random switch around thing where you just have red and pink do it. Not all 5, which is fine. But at least there's a story reason for it. Which, nice the fact to do that. And of course, they destroy the monster. And at one point, even the mech gets trapped in the coffin. Because first it's Pink and some kids. Now it's the Megazord's turn. And then they break out. And then, of course, they destroy it. The whole thing is, oh, we're so strong, because that's basically our thing. But that's kind of the first 3 episodes in a nutshell. Yeah, I know if I could talk about this for 25 minutes, but I was talking about basically some other rants I basically associated with stuff related to the show. But yeah, if you think, wow, you must really enjoy the show, but it basically took for this long. Yeah, a lot more enjoyment out of this one than I did with Dawn Brothers. Now, I think people like Dawn Brothers. It's just it lost me. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do the like button. Next up we have is a comic corner, and then it's on to the next 3 episodes of ToQger. Okay, next video. Bye.